Hello, and thank you for calling the Millionaires of the Bible series on this Sunday morning. My name is Issachar Bey. I am the Senior Director of the Temple of Enlightenment International Spiritual Center, and I'm just delighted and happy that you guys can be on this call for this morning. Those of you that are joining for the first time, we want to welcome you to the call. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to be on this call. These calls are created so that we can apply these principles, these precepts, and these golden nuggets that we learn every week to enhance and expand our level of consciousness so that we can create our own reality and live the life that we were born to live, so that we can be, do, and have all of our heart's desires. And so that's the reason why we utilize these calls. It's not just to listen to the truths or listen to the principles, but to actually apply them. And so we are excited because of where we are going. We know that what's coming is better than what's been. We believe that the days ahead of us are far more greater, more monumental and prosperous than the days behind us. And so it is. We want to thank you for tuning in, those of you that wanted to get a copy of the notes. The notes will always be on the replay on our YouTube page, which is the Temple of Enlightenment. You can subscribe to our YouTube page. You can also get all of the replay calls that you missed. You can also get access to the call notes. All of our social media connections are there. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on LinkedIn. So you can reach out to us and stay connected with us. And we are exceptionally delighted that you guys are going to be able to keep continuing to join us as we go through this journey. We are in our third week in the Millionaires of the Bible series, and I'm excited about what we got going on for today. I want to first just reiterate that coming up soon, what I'm going to be doing here on our call is we're going to put together a business empowerment Zoom call, and I believe I may do it on next Saturday, which will be the 26th, which will be the 26th. And what this call is going to be, those of you who are entrepreneurs, those of you who have your own businesses, because we are already in the consciousness of being a millionaire, I believe everybody on this call is a millionaire. It's impossible for you to continue to be on these calls and your mind not be expanded, and that your consciousness is not expanded, and that you are not moving in the realm of becoming a millionaire or walking in your millionaire consciousness. And so I believe that everybody on this call is already a millionaire. We're already a millionaire on the conscious level. And so I want to put together a business empowerment call mixer, so to speak, where we can all get together and really let everybody know what business is that we have, because there's a lot of people who have some great businesses, great things going on, and we need to know and be able to network and connect with each other, because everything we need is already within us. It's right here in the group, everything we need. And so I've been meeting with everybody separately, and I'm just blown away at so many great things that are going on in each and individual person. I want to bring everybody together so we can all come together and really tap into everything that everybody's doing. Some of us are in the financial sector. Some of us do marketing. Some of us are entrepreneurs in all so many kind of different ways with the health and so many other things that are going on. So I just want to create a platform where we can come together and network and really utilize this consciousness, this millionaire consciousness that we got. Because I believe that your net worth is connected to your network. I'll say that again. Your net worth will always be connected to your network. And so I believe that by us networking and getting out and connecting with everybody and connecting with like-minded people, it will definitely increase and enhance our net worth. And so I'm excited about that, and I really want to get that together because there's so many gifted and talented people in our group on our call. I just want to make sure that we all are connected and that we know what the other person does and what service they're providing and what do they have to offer because I believe that we all can be blessed by each other. And so I want to create that. That'll be going out this week. It will be free. You guys, all you got to do is click on the link, and you'll get the Zoom link, and we all jump on for a couple hours and give everybody the opportunity to share what they do, and we'll be able to pour into each other. And I think it will be absolutely phenomenal. I'm really looking forward to it. It's something that I've been wanting to do for a while, and Spirit spoke to me, and I really want to put that together. So I'm definitely excited about that. You guys will be hearing about that very shortly. Within the next day or so, I will be sending that out to everybody. So really excited about that. I wanted to get into our text for tonight. For this morning, we are now in the third week of our Millionaires of the Bible series. Those of you that are listening and you want to follow us, we're in the orange book, which is the Millionaire Joshua. It's an orange book with the gold star. It's written by Catherine Ponder. You can go on Amazon.com and get a copy. We're actually in the third chapter, and we are talking about the prosperity law of attraction. That's page 55. So if you guys want to go ahead and follow, you can. I believe that every week that we do these sessions, it's really amazing to me because, as I said last week, I can see myself unfolding at each level that we go into. When we first started, we began to move from the Joshua's level of consciousness from slave to millionaire because he had been in bondage. He had been enslaved. Was bought out of being a slave. He was bought out of slavery and brought into the wilderness. And now we are entwining as he's into the wilderness, preparing to go into the promised land and take the promised land. And so we've already tapped into his ability to move from being a slave mentality, Egypt meaning bondage, to being freed, and now he's in the wilderness. And then last week we began to talk about the prosperity law of mental acceptance. We begin to look at that. And so today we're going to discuss the prosperity law of attraction. And see, I'm kind of glad that we're going to be talking about the law of attraction because I believe that the law of attraction has been misunderstood and really taken for granted, so to speak, because when we talk about the law of attraction, everybody gets happy. Everybody loves to talk about the law of attraction. But I really want to look at this morning and really unpack some things dealing with the law of attraction that I think we can walk away from this call today and be on a higher level than ever before. I believe that when you look at the law of attraction, many of us, as we look at the movie The Secret and the movie What the Bleep and all of these other spiritual movies, that it seems like if you can just think it, it'll happen. If you can just speak it out loud, it'll happen. And so we get caught up into the whole thing about the law of attraction. But I'm going to show you that the law of attraction a lot of times is not what the public or what we call the outer world perceives it to be. But it's a little bit more deeper and a little bit more concise in how we ought to look at this from our spiritual, metaphysical standpoint when we begin to look at the law of attraction. When you begin to look at the word attraction, the word attraction means to draw, means to pull and to draw in and to pull in. And so what we're doing is when you talk about working with the prosperity law of attraction, what we're looking at is we're looking at Joshua now as he's going through his journey. He's at a place now where he's still in the wilderness, but he's still operating. He's still working. He's still constantly moving and actually evolving in his levels of consciousness as he gets ready to go in and possess the promised land. We see here that he's now looking at this from the perspective of him now moving into the law of attraction. He's moving into this element now where he's now being able to see things from this perspective. Now, the law of attraction is what I believe the world looks at the law of attraction is. They only see the law of attraction from the effect side of it. And they only see the effects of it. For instance, if I think about having a house, the house appears. If I think about getting a new car, the car appears. That's not the law of attraction. Those are the effects of the law of attraction. Those are the results of the law of attraction. Anything on the physical realm that we believe is the result of the law of attraction. But the law of attraction is something that can't be seen. It's something that can't be seen with the visible eye, but we can see the results of it based on the demonstration of the results of what was being pulled in or drawn to us. If we look at our text from 2 Corinthians 4:18, it says here, it says, so we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are unseen. For the things which are visible are temporal, just brief and fleeting. But the things which are invisible are everlasting and imperishable. I took that from the Amplified version because I love the way that it reads. And so it says here that we look not at the things which are seen. We don't look at the results of the law of attraction. What we're looking at is the things that are not seen, the force, the divine substance that helps us to pull in and to draw in the very thing that we want to attract. And so it says, but that which is not seen, that invisible force, that law of attraction that we're going to be working with today is invisible. And whatever is invisible is everlasting and imperishable. And so when we begin to work with that, we begin to see how that transcends in each and every one of our lives. Your inner being, your source energy, always offers a perspective that is your greatest advantage. And when your perspective matches that, then the law of attraction is occurring. I'll say that again. Your inner being, source energy, always offers a perspective that is to your greatest advantage. And when your perspective matches the perspective of your inner being, source energy, when it actually reaches and matches that level of perspective, then and only then does the law of attraction begin to occur. When we begin to look at Joshua as he begins to move and operate, and he's in this place now where he's just finishing dealing with the law of mental acceptance. He's now moving into a place where he's understanding now that now I got to really begin to utilize these prosperity laws. What I love about this, let me tell you what I love about this series, is that every week that we go through each one of these keys, we are learning how to manifest. We're learning how to create our own reality. Every week there's another layer that we're unfolding. And as we learn how to master these laws, these precepts, these concepts, these principles, what ends up happening is, what it does is that it gives us the level to move into a great level of mastery, that we're able to be masters of our own universe, that we begin to understand how to move in the different levels of mastery. Because when you begin to understand and utilize these principles over and over again, the more you use them, the stronger you become. The more you use them, the wiser you'll become. And the more you use them, you will be able to really become a master of your own universe. Now, here we have Joshua. He's in the wilderness. He's been under the great teachings of Moses. He's been in his mystery schools. He's been following him, learning the mental law of mind action. He's been learning the metaphysical principles from Moses, because Moses was the one that brought them out of bondage, that brought them out of slavery. And now that they're in the wilderness, he begins to realize and see that he went from the beginning stage. Now, Joshua has a great deal that he's dealing with, because Joshua was the one that actually went to the promised land to spy it out. He was the one that actually seen it with his own eyes. He went in there and began to get that information, because Moses tapped him on the shoulder and said, I want you to go and bring me back the report. Tell us what we're going to be walking into. Tell us what this place looks like. And so we begin to see in the beginning stages of moving into a millionaire status, that if we're going to be in a millionaire status, we got to be able to spy out the land. We got to be able to see the place that we're going to. We got to be able to see that, because in order to move into our next level, we got to be able to see it. You only get what you see. Well, what are we looking at? You don't see with your eyes. Let me tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. The best way to see is with your eyes closed. I'll say that again. The best way to see is with your eyes closed. Why? Because we don't look with the natural eye. We look with the mind's eye. They call it the third eye. We begin to see with the mind's eye. And when we begin to see with the mind's eye, what happens is we begin to tap into the imagination. The imagination is the beginning of creation. We begin to tap into that beginning of the creation of what we will take as a tool to help us to manifest. And so when we get into that position now, we get in that position now where we begin to spy out the land. Then we went from learning how to spy out our land. We then moved into how to accept how to mentally accept what we're going to be walking into. We learned that last week, how to mentally accept how we're going to actually walk into it. Because listen, before we can do anything, we got to mentally accept it first. We got to mentally accept the good and mentally accept everything that's going on. Now that we have mentally accepted it, now we're going to start pulling in and drawing to us the very things that we want to manifest. Let me say this to you. Everything that you're going after is going after you. I'll say this like this. Everything that you want to manifest is actually coming after you. The very thing that you want, it wants you too. The very thing that you're going after is the very thing that's going after you. So when you begin to look at it from that perspective, we're now at a place now where Joshua's getting ready to pull in. Attraction is to pull, to draw in, and to pull. And so we begin to see that the law of attraction is not something that's on the physical realm. It's actually something that's invisible. It's an invisible power. It's an invisible substance. And what the world has been fascinated with is the results of the law of attraction, not the law of attraction itself. Because the law of attraction is something that cannot be seen. It's an invisible force. It's an invisible substance. It is a force that is invisible, but it is something that will always be everlasting and always be imperishable. So now we begin to look at Joshua as he begins to go through this season of his life, where he's in a season now where he's getting ready to make plans, and he's working on a master plan, and he's now getting ready to draw in the very good that he begins to mentally accept. He's going to draw it in now. Now, what I love about this story with Joshua is that every time Joshua had a problem, every time he had a situation, what he would do is he would go to Mount Nebo. And when he would go to Mount Nebo, he would go up to Mount Nebo, because what happens is when you go up to Mount Nebo, what it does is it begins to lift your level of consciousness to where you're no longer dealing with the issues at the level that you have them on. They always say that whenever you have a problem, don't deal with the problems on the same level that they come, but you're going to lift your level of consciousness and you're going to go to a higher level of consciousness. That way you'll be able to deal with the problems on a different level. I understand now that when you go to a high level of consciousness, what you're actually doing is you are lifting yourself through time and space, and you're allowing yourself to rise above your limitations. Whenever you feel like you're limited, wherever you feel like you're stuck, wherever you feel like you're in a bind and you need to really get out of this jam that you're in, you always, I will always say this: I need to go to Mount Nebo. And when you say that, people will say, "Oh man, you're going to Mount Nebo. What does that mean?" That means I'm going to a high level of consciousness so that I can release myself from the limitations of where I am now in this level of consciousness, in this season of my life. I need to go up to the mountain so that I can be able to be at a place where there's no more limitations. There's no lack, loss, or limitations. When we begin to look at Joshua and we begin to look at this law of attraction, this prosperity law of attraction, of being able now to draw in. I've already mentally accepted. I've already spied out the land. I know where I'm going. I know everybody on this call, we know that we're millionaires. We've already scoped out what a millionaire looks like. We've already seen the things that come with being a millionaire. We've seen the lifestyle. We've seen a lot of the things of how the millionaires carry themselves. We've seen many different millionaires who are doing the very things that we're getting ready to do. We've scoped it out already. Then we went from scoping it out now. We went to mentally accepting it, seeing ourselves, feeling ourselves, and actually accepting the fact that we actually can become millionaires. We've mentally accepted that. Now we're in a place like Joshua where we're getting ready to draw in and attract the millionaire status, that we're getting ready to move into our promised land. And so I wanted to give you guys today what I call the 7 laws of attraction. I wanted to just give this to you because I want you to get a real grasp and understanding of what the law of attraction is. The law of attraction is not what the world thinks it is. It's not just I think about money and then money shows up. Now, there is a way that can happen, but it doesn't happen just the way by us talking about it. There's many different elements to mastering the law of attraction. As I said before, when your inner being, your source energy, offers a perspective that's up to your greatest advantage. That means when the divine mind, the inner being, source energy, comes up with the greatest advantage for you, and then your perspective comes into an alignment with that, then and only then can the law of attraction happen. But there has to be a match of your perspective aligning with the perspective of source energy of your inner being, of the divine mind. And when there's a match, when there's a match at that level, then and only then can the law of attraction be made to happen. Now, I wanted to talk about the 7 laws of attraction. I wanted to get into this because I really think that this is crucial in us really getting a understanding of how to apply these laws into our life, because now we're getting ready to attract, to pull in. As the Bible says, so a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Now, the word heart metaphysically means his subconscious mind. So when the Bible says, as a man thinketh in his heart, we're going to remove the word heart and put, as a man thinketh in his subconscious mind, so is he, right? And so we say this all the time, that you can only attract what you are. I say this to people all the time. You will never get out of life what you want. You will never get it. I want a car. I want a house. I want more money. I want a better lifestyle. I want to be more healthy. As long as you want, you will never get out of life what you want. You will only get out of life what you become. Watch this. We just gave you the law. When source energy and your inner being come up with a perspective to your greatest advantage, your perspective must be in alignment with that perspective of divine mind. And when your perspective is at the same level of source energy, divine mind's perspective, then and only then can the attraction happen, the law of attraction. But watch this. What they're saying is that when the perspective of source energy, divine mind, has a perspective of greater good, and your perspective gets to that same level, and there's a oneness, you become one with divine mind. So what you're doing is you're getting to a place where you're going to be able to understand how to come into alignment with the greatest good that divine mind source energy has. And when you come into alignment with that, there's no separation. There's only oneness. I and my Father are one. When you see the Father, you see me. When you see me, you see the Father. So there's always going to be a level of oneness. Now, what happens here is that the 7 laws of attraction, I want to really look into this because I think that this is going to give us a little bit more clarity, a little bit more wisdom and understanding, and it will also give us a level of understanding that will allow us to have a good, solid foundation as we move further in our journey into the millionaire status, the millionaire consciousness. Why? Because we understand and know that in order to become a millionaire, we are actually learning the cause methods, the cause techniques, because we already know we already understand and know, this is the secret in playing the game of life. If you can learn how to activate and create the law of cause, then you automatically know that for every cause, there will always be an effect. What we're doing is we're creating the millionaire cause. Everybody on this call is getting the millionaire cause, because what happens is once you begin to utilize and activate the millionaire consciousness within you, then and only then can the effects of the millionaire begin to unfold. Now, I'll tell you this. Since we started these millionaire things, I can only tell you how my life has changed dramatically. I'm having all kind of opportunities to make money. Financial institutions, organizations are presenting themselves to me. I'm having meetings with people about creating financial situations for myself, and all kind of stuff is opening up. And all of this stuff is happening because I'm actually moving and operating in the millionaire consciousness. I'm talking to people about crypto, about Bitcoin. People are inviting me to meetings and all kind of seminars and just different things that are going in. I'm getting plugged into certain groups where people are investment groups. I had somebody send me something the other day. It was a by mistake, but it actually was no, as we understand, there's no mistakes, there's no accidents in life. He was supposed to send me one email about something else and ended up sending me the wrong email, but the email he sent me was about how to start your own private equity fund. And we begin to get into that and begin to talk about so many different things with, being a equity fund manager and how to do investments and just all these kind of things that came up. So when you start moving in your millionaire consciousness and you really start activating this law of cause, you understand that it's very important, because for every cause, there's an effect. If we can master the cause, then we can understand that because of seed time and harvest, we automatically know that whatsoever man soweth, that shall he also reap. So we understand that we already know what the physical ramifications are going to be because of what we're doing on the spiritual and the mental side. The first level of the law of attraction is the law of manifestation. It is the law of being able to pull into perspective the very things that you want to manifest. Writing is the first level of manifestation. And I like to say this: if there's anybody on this call who did not get their manifestation journals, please let me know, because one person reached out to me, and so we're going to make sure that goes out. So if everybody should have gotten it. If you didn't, please let me know. I want to make sure you get it this week. You have to begin to write. Writing is the first level of manifestation. I'm writing more now since we've been doing these classes than anything before. I've created these call notes so that you guys can write down things and keep them in folders and everything, but I use them just as well. And I'm telling you, there's power in writing. There's power in putting things in paper, and there's power in putting things down. Writing makes things official. It makes things concrete. Anybody on this call who's ever said to you, we need to do this, we need to get together and do a business deal, they always say, well, let's put it in writing. Why? Because writing is going to solidify it. It's going to make it concrete. It's going to make it official. And so when you put things in writing, you're telling the universe that these are important, that it's real. Writing takes the concept, the thing out of the invisible realm, and it makes it concrete. It brings it into the physical realm. And so we begin to work with that law of manifestation. The next law, number 2 of the law of attraction, is the law of magnetism. The law of magnetism, of being able to have control over your feelings, to feel like a millionaire, to feel successful, to feel worthy, to feel valuable, to feel that you are in a great place in life, to feel happy, to feel joyful, to feel abundant, and to be able to have those feelings of feeling the wish fulfilled. Everybody on this call, how would it feel if you had $1 million in your bank account right now? How would it feel? If you can hold on to that feeling and begin to work that feeling and begin to put that feeling on like a shirt and put that feeling on like a jacket and begin to wear it, I'll tell you this, that you will see very soon, my friend, that the universe will begin to create ways to make that $1 million actually show up. And so it's something about the feeling nature that allows us to bring in that magnetism power. For our minds are magnets, and we can only magnetize to us the very things that we have on our mind. We talked about this Wednesday about what are you feeding your mind. We talked about, that you have to be very careful of what you feed yourself because you are what you eat. We talked about this on the Wednesday call. And so it kind of piggybacks on where we are with the magnetism aspect of it, because we are now understanding that manifestation is part of the law of attraction. We understand that here we are level on the second law, which has to do with magnetism. Magnetism is that pulling aspect of being able, when the word attraction means to draw or pull in, that's the magnetism power that you can't see. The magnetism power, you can't see it. It's invisible, but we know that whatever is invisible is eternal and is imperishable. So that magnetism power is based on your feeling nature. And guess what? You have control over your feelings. Don't let your feelings have control over you. You have control over your feelings. And the more you work on controlling your feelings, you'll be able to understand and really work the magnetism power in your life, because you won't let the things that are going on in your physical world dictate to you how to feel. But you will be able to tell your feelings on how to feel based on what you want to magnetize and to bring in. Have you ever had a good day going on and it seems like everything in your physical life was going bad, but you didn't let that mess up your day? You said to yourself, today is a good day. I believe that all good things are happening. I believe in good opportunities, expected and unexpected, that are coming. There's nothing that's going to mess up this day. And so you already put it into the atmosphere that you were not allowing whatever happened in the physical realm to mess up your day, because you now were in a place where you were magnetizing the power of you felt good, you begin to look good, and you begin to control your feelings that no matter what happened, you weren't going to let anything destroy or mess up that day, because you understood the power of how to take control over your feelings. Your feelings are what give you the fulfillment and bring those things into perspective. Number three is going to be the law of balance. Now, we have to begin to understand and look at this, because in order to really be able to really apply and look at some things and really begin to bring this law of attraction in, we have to have balance. We can't be too heavenly minded that we're no earthly good, and we can't be too earthly good that we're not heavenly minded. So there has to be a balance. We are spiritual beings having a human experience, and so we have to learn how to have that balance, but understand that even within the balance, that everything must happen on the spiritual and mental level first. Before we can, I talked about this last week, that some people are cheating because a lot of times people are getting things on the physical realm that they haven't gotten in the spiritual or the mental realm. And what happens is they are cheating. Eventually they're going to lose it. But have you ever seen somebody who has something and then it was taken away from them in the physical realm and they got it right back again? That's because they already had it in the spiritual and the mental realm. So even though it got taken away in the physical realm, it had to come back because guess what? Their source energy, their inner being perspective, which had a great advantage of them, was equal and matched their personal perspective. They were walking in oneness. So they were able to attract and magnetize and manifest that same thing very back to them. The law of balance, being able to have balance in your finances, balance in your career, balance in your marriage, balance in your family and your relationships, balance. And so this is something that's very key. Number 4. Number 4 is going to be the law of desire. The word desire means of the Father, but the reason why the law of desire is important is because desire is defined by what is your intention. When you set an intention on what it is that you're going to attract into your life, what it is that you're going to draw and pull in, Joshua now is at a place now where he's been writing in the wilderness. He's understood the law of magnetism. He has the magnetism now because he's already telling everybody, listen, we got what it takes to get this promised land. I went over there, and regardless of what the other people said they saw over there, and they saw themselves as grasshoppers and they saw the giants, I believe we can take it. I believe that we can go in there and we can get what we need to get. And so Joshua already was operating in the law of magnetism. Then we see here that he now is at a place where he has to learn how to operate in balance. He has to learn how to operate in balance. But now we're at the law of desire. And what is his intention? When you get ready to manifest and bring in and utilize the prosperity laws of attraction, what is your intention? What is your actual intention of what it is that you're going after? We're not utilizing this law of attraction to boast and tell people, oh, I got a house and I got a car and I got money, I'm a millionaire. We're not doing this to be vain. We're not doing this to be show-offs. We're not doing this to be seen, but our intentions are pure. We're doing this because we want to put ourselves in a better position in our lives. We want to do this so that we're able to expand and be able to expand our level of consciousness so that we can be, do, and have all of our heart's desires. We're doing this because this is our purpose. This is our destiny. And so I think that your intention has to be very clear on why it is that you're doing what you're doing. Why is it that you're operating or wanting to step into your millionaire consciousness? Not so that I can go and tell everybody that I'm a millionaire. Not I can go and drive around in a luxury car and wear luxury watches and luxury clothes and Gucci and Fendi and Louis Vuitton and not to do none of that stuff. That's not my intention. My intention is to be able to create and manifest my own dreams, to have wealth, to bring generational wealth to my family, to begin to make money passively, passive income, that even while I'm sleeping, money is coming in, to have more than enough money. And so my intention is different. And I think that in the law of attraction, we have to be very clear on what our intentions is, because you want your intentions to be in alignment with what source energy, divine mind, has in your intention for you. He says, I wish above all that you prosper, even as your soul prosper. And so we have to be very clear and very at a great level of understanding of how important our intention is. The next law of attention, the next law of attraction is going to be the law of harmony. Now, this, I believe, is one of my favorite laws, because the law of harmony is being able to utilize the four elements. So you have here, we have here fire, we have here fire, we have here air, water, and earth, right? Fire is your passion. Fire is your energy, your effort, your enthusiasm, right? Air is your mental ability, is your ability to think, to prosper, to see with your mind's eye, to visualize. That's the element of air. The element of water is your spiritual feeling, your intuitiveness, your tapping into the divine mind, the source. And then, of course, earth has to do with your physical practicality. So so water and earth goes together, and fire and air goes together. And so when people come to me all the time and say, hey, I'm a Gemini, and happy birthday to all the Geminis. I'm a Gemini, and I want to know who could I hook up with. And so I tell them that all air signs are compatible with fire signs. All earth signs are compatible with water signs. It gets deeper than that because it's a lot of other elements into that, but just on the general level. And so when we talk about the law of harmony, we're talking about how to harmonize the four elements, how to harmonize my passion, my enthusiasm, because your passion and your enthusiasm should be like a candle that can never go out. It must be like a candle that continually burns, because that passion and that enthusiasm that you need will help you go through a lot of the ups and downs, or the valleys and the mountaintop peaks that you will go through. And so being able to utilize that and now come into the mental capacity of operating in the air element, of operating with my mind, communication, how I think, my visualization, being able to see myself being, doing, and having, being able to feed my mind the right thing. What am I feeding my mind? Being able to not have the negative thoughts, the negative concepts, being able to tap into my imagination. All of those are operating in the air element. Then I get into my water element, where I'm moving in intuition. I'm moving into what the divine mind says. I'm moving into my intuition, my feeling, being able to control my feelings and begin to really utilize that magnetism. That's what happens when you get into the water sign, when you begin into that water manifestation, that intuitiveness that I have, that I can be at the right place at the right time to meet the right people, where I can utilize by how I feel. I can feel when things are not right. I can feel that my intuition is telling me to go left, or it's telling me to go right, or it's telling me to be still, even though everything is going chaotic, and being able to really utilize the element of water. And then we get back to the element of earth, of practicality. So there's some people on this call who are more practical. There's some people who are more of an air sign. There's more people who are more water. There's more people who are more fire. But when you understand the law of harmony, you understand how to balance the four elements. I may be a person, because I'm a Pisces, that I like I'm a lot of water. But I understand that I need earth, that I need fire, and that I need air. And so I understand that I need to understand how to utilize the four elements of harmony, because earth is very important, the practicality aspect of it. Why? We as spiritual beings have a human experience. So I still have to be able to operate on earth. I still have to be able to operate in the physical world. So I have to be able to balance those elements. The next law is the law of right action. A lot of us are thinkers. We talk, we think, we write, we speak, but we have to learn how to be doers. Faith without works is dead, being yet alone, which means that we have to be doers of the word, not just talkers and reading the word, but we got to be doers of the word. We got to be doers of the word. And when we become doers of the word, what happens is we begin now to get action. We begin to put our hands to the plow. The Bible says, he that put his hands to the plow and looking back is not fit for the kingdom. And so what that means is that we have to be doers of the word. We got to put the action down. It's one thing to read. It's one thing to study. It's one thing to write. But now it's time for us to actually take action. And when you start operating in the law of attraction, you know, your meditation, your mental, your visualization, all those wonderful things are great. But there comes a time where we got to be able to make the right action. We make the right action by being connected and being aligned with the right thoughts, with the right concepts, with the right intentions, with the right balance, with the right harmony, with the right magnetism, with the right manifestation. Everything has to be in alignment. The next law is the law of influence. I'm sorry, I would say influence, but I'm going to say the law of accountability. The last one is the law of accountability. We have to be accountable. We have to be able to be accountable. And a lot of us we may need accountability partners. We may need people who can help us to be accountable, but we need to walk in the law of accountability, because being accountable says that I'm on my way to becoming a millionaire. I'm on my way to getting this millionaire status. I'm already a millionaire consciously. I'm starting to see things in a millionaire's perspective. I'm starting to see things. Now, I don't know if anybody else on this call has had this happen, but I've noticed since we've been doing these classes that a lot of things that normally I wouldn't pay attention to seems like they're jumping off the screen at me. There's certain things that people say that normally I wouldn't care about. It seems like my ears are gravitating towards certain words and certain phrases. There's certain things when you're operating in a millionaire consciousness, there's certain things that just grab you. It seems like certain things are being pulled to me now or being magnetized to me now by my level of consciousness. And so I'm telling you, those of you on this call, it's impossible for you to keep being on this call and you not elevate into your millionaire consciousness, because they say you are who you hang around. Your friends are a resume of what you're going to become. And if you keep hanging around millionaires, eventually you're going to become a millionaire. It just happens like that. And so all of us on this call, we are already consciously millionaires. We are already consciously walking in that level of consciousness. We're now at the place now where we're learning how to operate in the law of attraction. We're getting ready to pull in and to draw in this manifestation of our millionaire consciousness. We're getting ready to pull that in. And so that's where we are now. The accountability of it is being accountable, being able to say that, listen, I put my word down. I put myself in a position where I got my journals and I set my schedules, and I'm actually being accountable that every day I'm going to take time to go over these principles and utilize these things and really get into a real good understanding of this. Now, one of the things that I love about, and I guess this is the reason why Spirit had me utilize this book first, The Millionaire of Joshua. I probably would have went with, I actually think my favorite one is The Millionaire of Nazareth, which is the one that we're going to start on August the 8th. That's the yellow book with the gold star. But one of the things that I love about this is that in the Bible, the word success, and I think it's only shown 1 or 2 times in the whole Bible. And the book, the only place that the word success is shown is in the book of Joshua. That's the only place in the Bible where you're going to see the word success. And it's in Joshua, the 1st chapter and the 8th verse. I'll read it. It says, "The book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and thou shalt have good success." Now, what I love about this is that he's iterating here that the law that you're studying should not depart out of your mouth, which means you got to speak that. Whatever we're meditating on, whatever we're reading, you got to speak it into the atmosphere, because death and life are in the power of the tongue. They that love it will eat the fruit thereof. So when I speak something, and I'm going to really teach on this one day, on the power of the spoken word, how to declare and decree, and how powerful it is. We used to play a little game when we were younger that said sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt. But anybody, I don't know about you, words hurt. Words can cut you. Words can hurt you sometimes more than the physical specimen. So that's why we have to be very cautious and very understanding and have a clear understanding of how powerful words are. And so he says here that the book of the Lord shall not depart out of your mouth. You must constantly speak those words from the book of the law. And then he says here that you need to meditate on it day and night. You got to meditate on it. You got to become one with the law. And as you meditate on it, and as you observe and do everything that's written, here it is, listen, you got to speak it, you got to meditate on it, and not only do you have to meditate on it, you got to actually do. We talked about this, one of the laws, the law of right action. You got to actually do what the law says. You got to take action. And after you've done those three things, it says then that thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and that thou shalt have great or good success. And so when we begin to look at that's in Joshua, the 1st chapter and the 8th verse. Now, I want to move into something that I want to give to you guys that I think is going to be absolutely phenomenal. Joshua talks about, if you look at this particular chapter, he talks about making a master plan as he gets ready to utilize his success, as he gets ready to move into this law of attraction. He really gets into a place where we see here now that he's actually showing us his law of attraction, because he's sitting down, he's planning the promised land and how he's going to be entering it. He's working on all of that. He's studying the land. He's doing the picturing techniques. He's mentally accepting it. He's developing a success plan, and then he's also keeping quiet. Now, this is something that's very interesting, because you have to be very careful. What you secretly harbor, you attract. What you secretly harbor. So here is something that happens now. He's working on all this stuff. He can't tell anybody. So, he's with the other ones, and everybody's just, sitting around, and he's actually working. He's working on his law of attraction. He's working on his law of mental acceptance. He's actually utilizing these principles. But you have to be very careful. You can't tell people what you're doing, because a lot of times people get jealous. And so one of the secrets into the law of attraction, because listen, the law of attraction, once again, is an invisible thing. It's not something that can be seen. We can only see the effects or the results of it, but the actual law of attraction is not something that can be seen. So what he does is he secretly harbors in what he's actually manifesting. So he's not telling anybody what he's doing, because he understands that what I harbor, I attract. Now, there's a twofold side to this coin, because you have to be very careful of what you harbor. You can't harbor negativity. You can't harbor sickness. You can't harbor defeat or low self-esteem, because if you harbor that, what you harbor secretly, you attract. And so you have to be very careful of what you are doing. That's why those 7 laws of attraction are so important, because those are now coming into understanding those 4 levels of the 4 elements of harmony, of being able to do that and to utilize that. And so it's very important that we keep a close guard and watch on what are we secretly harboring, because I don't want, like a lot of times in our lives, we say, I didn't sign up for this. I don't know why this is showing up in my life right now. I'm not manifesting this. I never claimed to manifest this. But then you got to ask your question, what are you secretly harboring? Because what you secretly harbor, you attract. So I got to go in and I got to do a full maintenance check. I got to go through and do a full check, a full maintenance check on everything, and find out where am I, make sure that I have nothing secretly harboring that I don't know about. Now, there's some things that I'm going to secretly harbor. It's going to be success. It's going to be wealth. It's going to be abundance. Those are the things that I'm going to secretly harbor on. But if there's anything negative, there's anything that I don't want in my physical reality, I need to make sure that I'm not harboring it. because I don't want that attraction to come into my life. It talks about Joshua getting ready to move into the promised land. He's at the level of the law of attraction. One of the techniques that I want to talk about and give you is how to create the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune is going to be a technique that we will be working with. The Wheel of Fortune is it's sort of like a vision board, but it's actually it actually is a little different. So the vision board is, you know, something. It's kind of like a vision board. I call the vision board the mirror board. But the Wheel of Fortune is you get a piece of paper and you draw a circle on it. In the middle of the circle, you begin to put down, you begin to write down what it is that you are going to manifest, what it is that you're going to bring into fruition. If you're going to be like, I'm a millionaire, you would write, I'm a millionaire in the middle of the circle, and like in the point blank of the middle of the circle. And you would write, I'm going to manifest a car, a house, I'm going to be a millionaire, I'm going to put whatever theme that you want to put on there. And then what you're going to do is you're going to, from that middle point, you're going to draw 4 lines. So you're going to divide the circle into 4. You're going to divide the circle into 4. And then those 4 parts of the circle will become 4 different parts of your life. So it can be your finances, your career, your marriage, your spirituality. It can be your career, your job, your marriage, your finances, whatever those 4 elements of your life are. And then what you would do is you would take some pictures of each one of those 4 departments of your life, and you would put a picture, as that picture will be the result of your outcome of working with the Wheel of Fortune, right? So each one of the 4 parts, you will put a picture there, and then you would write affirmations underneath each one of the pictures. And what you would do is, I would actually work with it secretly. I would put my Wheel of Fortune away, and every day I would take it out, and I would begin to meditate on it and begin to, as the Bible says, I begin to speak it into existence. I begin to meditate on it, put it into action. But I would begin to start utilizing the Wheel of Fortune, right? Now, I love the fact that the Wheel of Fortune is created, and they talk about it having 4 parts, because we know that the number 4 is the number of organization, it's the number of foundation, it's the number of structure, it's the number of discipline. And so if you're going to create a Wheel of Fortune, we understand here that dividing your life into 4 parts, right, which gets deeper, because now the 4 parts can now bring in the 4 elements. And we can just go so many different places with that number 4. But at the same time, that Wheel of Fortune is something that I believe we work with every day. I believe you need to put it somewhere where you can constantly see it, as it becoming a constant reminder of what you're working on what you're manifesting. I believe that, you know, you could work with that as well as working with your journaling and being able to write some things down. And so I think that it's very crucial that we continue and begin to work with the Wheel of Fortune. Now, I have here as one of our questions on the call sheet that says, what things would you add to your Wheel of Fortune? What are you manifesting? What is it that you want to manifest? I'm a millionaire. So you can put that in the middle of your circle. You can divide it into 4. You can put how much money you would like to make a year from now. You can put, where would you like your marriage to be? Where would you like your family dynamics to be at that time? You can put where you would like your health to be, you know, and you can actually work those 4 elements, those 4 parts of the circle, and begin to work with them and begin to put them in perspective as you work your Wheel of Fortune. Why? The circle represents the wheel, and as the wheel goes, it's an unbroken circle that continues to go. It's that wheel that constantly moves. But guess what? It's the Wheel of Fortune. So what happens is you are actually creating your own fortune. Your faith is your fortune. Your faith is your fortune. And so as you begin to utilize those 4 elements and begin to create your Wheel of Fortune, you'll begin to work on those things. You know, I believe that, you know, this is something that's going to be very dynamic. I would love to hear how things begin to change as we all begin to utilize and create our Wheel of Fortunes today after we get off this call. I would imagine that we will begin to work on that. Wednesday, I think everybody needs to be on the call, because Wednesday I'm going to be teaching the secret of prayer. I don't know if a lot of people don't know how to pray or understand what prayer is, but I'm going to metaphysically show you, and I want you to get a grasp understanding of what prayer is. And definitely this is something that's definitely going to be added into the Wheel of Fortune, because you're going to be able to use the Wheel of Fortune to actually pray. And so we're going to be looking at that on our Wednesday call. This Wheel of Fortune is going to be something that I believe will definitely unite and help us to, as a tool, to really expand our consciousness, to really allow us to stay accountable, that level of accountability, to constantly see the Wheel of Fortune every day and understand that this task that we're doing is not something that happens overnight, but we're actually unfolding layer after layer of consciousness. And we're learning how to become masters of our own universe, how to walk into a level of mastery. And so every week that we get these lessons, we're learning how to move and operate like Joshua into our level of mastery. And so I'm excited about being able to operate and use this Wheel of Fortune. The affirmation for today says, I am rooted down deep in the subconscious source of all God, good, love, spirit, mind. I see God multiplying back to me all of the money that I circulate in any way, in a never-ending cycle of increase and enjoyment. Money loves me. Money loves to fill my hands and pockets. Money loves to fill my bank account. I've always learned from Reverend Ike that money has ears, and we ought to speak to money because money will listen. And we're not to work for money, but money is to work for us. Anytime you talk about becoming a millionaire, most times the most millionaires that you ever meet, they don't work for money. Money works for them. And so we're learning at this level of consciousness that we're going to move out of, as I said, I always say this, we're going to move from trading time for money to trading wisdom for money, and then being able to allow money to work for us. And so I love this affirmation when it says, I see God multiplying back to me all of the money that I circulate in any way in a never-ending cycle of increase and enjoyment. Money will never stop of increase. There's a never-ending cycle of increase and enjoyment. Money loves me. Money loves to fill my hands and my pockets. Money loves to fill my bank account. That's the affirmation we all should be utilizing and speaking into existence every day. That money loves to fill my bank account. Money loves to fill my hands and my pockets. Money loves to fill. Money loves me. Money loves to come around me. Money works for me. Money is attracted to me. I don't chase money, but money chases me, and so it is. And so I'm excited about working with this Wheel of Fortune that we're going to be working with. I'm excited about being able to utilize this Wheel of Fortune. I'm actually, as soon as we get off this call, I'm going to go get me some construction paper, and I'm going to create a Wheel of Fortune. I'm going to put some things on there. When we do this empowerment call next Saturday, I might do it Saturday afternoon. And how I'm going to set it up is I want everybody who's going to be on this to let me know that you're going to be there, because I'm going to give everybody a little bit of time to introduce themselves, tell us what your business is, what service you provide. I want to give you a good amount of time for you to explain to us what is it that you do. And then everybody on there, we're going to speak into your life. We're going to speak into your life. We're going to speak into your business. We're going to speak into each other. So I think this is going to be powerful. I think that this is going to be amazing. And I really am looking forward to this empowerment, this empowerment business mixer. And, we can invite anybody that that has a business, anybody who's an entrepreneur, who you think has something that we could definitely connect with. And so I would love to be able to for us to show each other our Wheel of Fortunes on that Zoom call, so we can actually join in with you and support. But I want to be able to speak into everybody's life. I want to be able to prophetically declare and speak into everybody who's going to be on that Zoom call, who has a business, who has an entrepreneur, who's saying to themselves that I don't have a business, but I was thinking about starting a business. You need to be on there. Be on there, even if you don't start nothing, even if you don't have nothing written down, but you have an idea, you have a concept, you have an idea of something that you want to start, a business, you have a desire, an intention. You need to be on that Zoom call. And so I think that we're moving in a great direction. We're moving in a great place. There's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of people in our group that have a lot to offer, that are very valuable. And I want to make sure that we all know who's who and what we have right in the midst of our very own. And I think that when we get on this Zoom call and we begin to really utilize, we really get to understand how much of like-mindedness and millionaire consciousness that we all are. Many of us are all doing the same things, just in a different way. And it's just very exciting to see how the universe is putting us together and opening doors and doing so many different things. So I'm really excited about where we're going as a unit and how we're going to be able to utilize. We talked about today, just to recap, the 7 laws of attraction. We talked about the law of manifestation, the law of magnetism, the law of balance. We talked about the law of desire, intention. We talked about the law of harmony, the 4 elements. We talked about the law of right action. And then we also talked and covered the law of accountability. And then we also got into the Wheel of Fortune. So I'm really excited about the Wheel of Fortune. I'm really excited about those of you that are going to be utilizing that Wheel of Fortune and really working with it. I think that it's a phenomenal tool, and I think that we will be able to see some great testimonials and from that. So I'm really excited about that. Don't forget, any of you on this call, if you ever find yourself getting stuck, you ever find yourself being in a place where you feel like you don't know which way to turn, always go to Mount Nebo. What does Mount Nebo mean? Mount Nebo means to go to a higher level of consciousness. And when you go up to a high level of consciousness, you lift yourself out of the limitations. You lift yourself above the limitations that you feel that you're in, that you're stuck, that you can't move around in. And so when you are able to lift yourself out of those limitations, you begin to now find solutions. We talked about this on one of our very first calls, that I am the solution. When you are able to lift your level of consciousness and get yourself out of those limitations or out of those concepts or mental limitations, you realize that, guess what? I am the solution to my own problem. I don't need to look outside of myself, but I am the solution to every problem that I have. I always tell people this. Anytime you look outside of yourself for the answer, you give that thing power over you. So anytime especially to women or to men or whoever, if I'm looking outside of myself for attention, if I'm looking outside of myself for love, whatever I'm grabbing a hold to on the outside for love and attention, I give that thing power over me. And I don't want anything in the outer realm to have power over me. So I cannot never reach for anything outside of myself. Everything that I need has to come from within. Because as soon as I go outside of myself to get it, I'm now giving that thing power over me. And so I have to be very careful of what I want attention from. If I feel like I need love, if I feel like I need happiness, I don't want to go outside of myself to get those things, because remember, everything that is seen is temporary. So that thing that I'm grabbing a hold to for attention, for love, and for happiness is temporary. But if I can learn how to utilize and tap in and get that attention, that love and happiness from inside, that which is invisible is eternal and imperishable, which means that happiness, that love, that affection that I'm looking for, it's going to be imperishable and everlasting because it came from the spiritual realm. But if I look for it in the physical realm, it's going to be temporary. And so as we continue to move into this next level of our dynamic. We're going to be moving into chapter 4 next week. So those of you that want to get this book, The Millionaire Joshua, you can continue to join us. Just before we leave, I like to say this one thing, that I'm excited about what you guys are doing. I want to thank you for really being a part of this call. A lot of people are coming on the call. We're advertising. We're doing a lot of different things now, so the calls are picking up. And, you know, we're setting off in our goal of getting 100 people on the call every Wednesday and every Sunday. So we're excited about that. Those of you that want to join in on this part of our call, which I call the circulation part, where we are able to circulate when we release funds out of our hands, we understand and know that those funds will return back to us 100-fold return. And so we're working every Sunday with the Millionaire Seed, which is $37. The number 3 is the number of self-expression. The number 7 is the number of redefining, redeveloping. It's the number of pulling back and actually putting yourself in a perspective of, I'm getting ready to move into what's next, what's coming. And so the 3 and the 7 together will give you the number 10, which will give you the number 1. The number 1 is the number of new beginnings. It is the number of the foundation. It is the number of creating opportunities. It is the number of making major decisions. And so when we work with the Millionaire Seed, we're actually getting ourselves in a position where we're moving into a new level of consciousness. We're moving in a place now where we're deciding on what our intentions in life are. What are we manifesting? What are we attracting? What are we pulling in? And so we're working with the $37 Millionaire Seed. You guys can, we have 4 ways to give. You can do Cash App, which is going to be $, the letter TOESC, which stands for Temple of Enlightenment Spiritual Center. We also have PayPal, which is going to be Issachar Bey at gmail.com. That's going to be ISSACHARBEY at gmail.com. We also have Venmo, which is going to be at the @ ISSACHAR-BEY at Issachar-Bey. We also have Zelle, which is going to also be at Issachar-Bey at gmail.com. So we have 4 ways that you guys can give. Some of you may say, I don't have the $37. Whatever your best gift is, whatever it is you want to get in on this good soil and begin to get into this millionaire consciousness, because you can only reap what you have sown. And so we understand that in consciousness, we understand that what it is that we put out into the atmosphere is what we'll get back on 100-fold return. And so we are excited about our circulation, because whatever we release, it comes back to us 100-fold return. I always say this: who you sustain will, in return, determine how you get maintained. And so when we begin to understand that as millionaires, when we call for the Millionaire Seed, we're not trying to get anything from you. We're trying to get something to you, because what we're asking for is seed. And when you plant that seed, you're getting back the 100-fold return. And so I'm just excited about all the wonderful things that are getting ready to happen as we plant these seeds. I have some great things that's going to take place in January that we're all going to be a part of. And so, I mean, not in January, in July. And so I'm just excited about these things that are happening. So those of you that want to join in, whatever your best gift is, we appreciate it. And we understand and know that God will bless the gift and also the giver. And understand that as you give, you're receiving at the same time a 100-fold return. And we believe, as our affirmation says, that what you release will circulate at a never-ending cycle of increase back into your life. That money will follow and will flow into your hands and pockets, and that money will begin to flow into your bank accounts, that you will have more than enough to receive. We talked about this last week, that the Bible says that the kingdom of heaven is in you. So when we came into that revelation last week, we talked about that we are the window of heaven. A lot of us are looking for somebody else to be the window of heaven, but we are the window of heaven, and what we got to do is open up the window of heaven and pour out a blessing that we don't have room enough to receive. Well, how can you do that? We can become the window of heaven because the kingdom of heaven is in us. And so we got that revelation last week. And so I'm just excited about operating at this millionaire level, at this millionaire consciousness. And so I want to thank all of you for tuning in to this call. We ask that when we put it on the replay that you subscribe, that you like, and that you share on YouTube. We're getting ready to start this week running YouTube ads, and we're getting ready to start doing something. So that's why we're saying all of your contributions and everything that you're doing is helping us to get the word out. We're going to start running Facebook and Instagram ads. So we want this word to get out. We want everybody to understand and know that the millionaire consciousness is here, that everybody can have access to tap into this millionaire consciousness. And so we're excited about where we're going. And so I'm just excited about each and every one of you on this call. And I want to thank you and let you know that you are greatly appreciated. We don't take anything for granted, but we actually pray and send love and light to all of you, that you will have 100% divine healing, 100% new opportunities expected and unexpected that will begin to overflow and begin to come to you in many different ways. And so we believe that, and we receive the love and light that you send to our way and that you send to me, and I receive it, and so it is. As we get ready to close, I want to thank all of you. Remember, Wednesday night at 9 o'clock, we have our call. Those of you that are not busy, you can listen to the call live, or you can also listen to the playback. And it also will come with call notes as well. If this is your first time joining us, you can definitely connect with us on all social media platforms. And just before we leave, we like to say this one thing. Your destiny is not a matter of chance, but it's a matter of choice.